All right, boys and girls. We've been talking about multiplying polynomials. Today we're going to talk about something. It's still multiplying polynomials, but it's a pattern that if you learn and recognize, it's going to save you a lot of work for the next 4 to 6 to 8 years, depending on your career. So let's just rehash real quick. If I want to multiply two things together, we've talked about 3 different ways you can do it. Just do it real quick here. I got 3x squared, 18x, 4x, 24, combine like terms. So that's what we've been doing. So now, there are certain problems that have certain patterns that allow us to do this even faster. And these 3 setups are the patterns we're going to talk about. When it's the same numbers but opposite signs, this shows up a lot. When it's the same numbers and the same sign is positive, same number, same sign, positive, okay? So, I don't like this example. Let's change that to a 3. All right. So let's look at this here. If I've got x plus 3, x plus 3, I know I'm going to get x squared. So if I look closely at these parts, when I do this table method, I see that I've got the exact same thing here. And it happens twice, right? I got the exact same thing. So if I would combine like terms and write the answer, that's what we get. Okay? Again, I don't like this example. Let's put a 5 here. All right? Don't put a 1. Change it to a 4. Okay. So let's do the same thing. 5x minus 4, 5x minus 4. Again, with the area method here, it'll help illustrate what's going on. Multiply these two together is 25x squared minus 20x minus 20x plus 16. So again, if I combine like terms, I've got 25x squared. I've got 2 sets of minus 20, so that's minus 40x, and a positive 16. Do you see or recognize a connection or a pattern between the numbers we started with, and again, remember I changed that to 5x minus 4, the numbers we start with in the problem, and the numbers we end up with in the problem? Do you see any connections or relations looking at this number and the numbers in the problem? Well, hopefully, you got a little bit. You notice 5 squared is 25. 4 squared, negative 4 squared is positive 16. If I look over here, again, this is an x, so x squared is x squared. Positive 3 squared is positive 9. Okay? What about that middle number? Well, over here you may notice that it's just whatever this number is out here times 2. Over here, it's not. It's not 4 times 2. But if we think back to the area method, we know it was just 2 sets of that. It was 2 negative 20s. Well, where's negative 20 come from? Multiplying the 2 numbers together. So if I multiply the 2 numbers together, and then double it, I get my middle term. Same thing over here. Multiply the 2 numbers together. X times 3 is 3x. Double it, 6x. Again, pattern recognition. If you learn this pattern, it can save you a lot of time. Here it is written out. Write that into your notes. Write the 2 examples into your notes, and then we'll practice. So, real quick, if I have something squared, by the way, you might see this written as 3x plus 4, 3x plus 4. Okay, because it's squared, it might be written out. Most of the time it'll be written like this. All right, so if I give you 3x plus 4 squared, I can imagine an area problem, right? Where I write it out. If you want to write it out, fine. But if you want to write out all these steps, fine. Memorize the pattern. I take the first term squared. I multiply the two terms together and double it. I take the last term and square it. Take a look, see if that makes sense. Now, like I said, if you want to work it out, you want to write it out, good. But I recommend you learn this pattern. It's going to help you a lot. All right, see if you can do this one on your own. Square the first term. Multiply them together. 5 times 2 would be, negative 2 in this case would be negative 10, would be negative 20. It's got an x here and a y here, so it would be both of them, x, y. And then square the last term. Negative 2 squared would be positive 4y squared. Question? All right. Do these 4 real quick. So, you should have gotten questions. All right, so I told you there were 2 patterns. Like I said, if you don't learn this, if you don't understand this, you can always write the work out. There's nothing that says you can't write the work out. But as you can tell, I got these answers pretty quick. Didn't have to write anything out, just in my head, I'm squaring terms and then doubling things. So again, it helps you to learn this. There's another pattern. All right, this one's called sum and difference. So this pattern here was called square of a binomial. So you took the same thing. So they were both plus or they were both minus. On this one, we got 1 plus and 1 minus. This one is going to show up a lot in your future, even more than the other one. So let's talk about this one with some real numbers here. T squared when I go to combine like terms, what do you notice about my 2 like terms? I got a positive 5t minus 5t. Yeah, that makes 0 t's. So the only thing left here, why is the 25 negative? Yeah. So if I look at something like this, I know, because it's the exact same numbers, one's a plus, one's a minus, I'm going to have that happen every time. Those like terms are going to drop out every time. They're going to be 0. So whenever I see this pattern, I know it's going to be the first term squared, the last term squared, and because it's one of each sign when I multiply it out, it's always going to be a minus sign in the middle. Okay? Do these 3. So I look here. This is going to be x squared minus 100. This is going to be 4x squared minus 1. All right, and this is going to be x squared minus 9y squared. Any questions? All right. Good luck. Get to work. Ask questions if you got them.